people, too. Really diverse, came from some different places. A couple of them drove long distances. I'm talking about the fans who protested Bob Nutting's ownership of the franchise yesterday in downtown. Good morning to you. Good Monday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is Daily Shot of Pirates. It comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into football and or hockey, I also offer daily shots of Steelers and Penguins in the same place that you found this. The number, which is all that anybody usually wants to know, of protesters was roughly 30, and I say roughly because sometimes it was a little more, sometimes it was a little less, depending on who showed up late, who had to get back to their car before they worried about it getting towed and so forth. But 30 is the number that you're looking for, okay? Now that we have that out of the way, and now that we can all recognize that 30 isn't exactly some overwhelming swell of humanity, we can also recognize that there were 30 people who cared enough about the institution, about the Pittsburgh Baseball Club, to find their way downtown on a Sunday when there was very little else going on. Football game's not until tonight. Hockey team was way out in Canada. To express to someone, to anyone who would see them or hear them that, they care. And that, my friends, is only about 100 gazillion times more powerful, more effective, more communicative than what pretty much anyone else would be saying that an angry Pirates fan should do. Just boycott them. Don't go to the game. Stop giving Nutting your money. Look, it's not in my interest in one direction or the other whether you give him a penny of your money, okay? We aren't business partners. We aren't anything. We cover the team. That's it, okay? But I'm here to tell you that there's a chasm between doing your part to ensure that an almost empty stadium is an almost empty stadium, because that's all you're doing with your imaginary boycott. I don't mean to be sounding rude here or whatever, but this is the one area that bugs me maybe the most about this entire scenario, because it's the same one that for years, for the entire time that I've been on this beat, has led people to just finger wag at reporters. Like reporters are supposed to show up for work with knives and pitchforks and whatever. If you're mad, or you're whatever, and you're the fan, you make yourself heard. You do what these people did yesterday, whichever way you happen to feel about it. The last time I checked, throughout the history of civilization, there have been protests, there have been counter-protests. Sometimes they go head-to-head. Go nuts. If you happen to think that this team is totally on the right track and you loved Brian Dela Cruz coming to Pittsburgh to pick things up in the summer, you go ahead and form your own community, okay? You can start a website, histeamnotours.com. Wear your I Love Bob t-shirts. Make sure the good folks over at Pittsburgh Clothing Company stitch those up for you. But, let me tell you what's actually going on here. When people sit at their keyboards and they type away on Twitter, LOL, look at the size of that protest, look at these people, or even the more serious ones that say, what do they think they're going to do here? Oh yeah, he's going to sell the team now, or whatever. What they're tacitly writing, what they might as well be writing inside translation brackets is, I think the only way anything can ever change is if I put a tweet on Twitter. That's it. And if it takes more than that, well, just count me out. So instead of admitting that, what I'm going to do is make fun of the people actually doing something. Or I'll say that there's no way he'll ever sell. You're wasting your time. And why would he sell if he's making a killing off the team? Never mind that he would sell for a price that would probably be $1.5 billion with a B dollars. It's a coping mechanism. I care about the Pirates, and I'd be really excited if they were to change management or ownership, but I'm not nearly that active, so I'm not going to participate in that, so I'm just going to make fun of these people who are. Well, I got to tell you, these people are pretty much what you'd expect they'd be. They are active. They are vocal. They did want to make themselves visible. they did want to make themselves heard. When the police officer approached, Pittsburgh police officer came up to them. They were telling me about this. This was before I caught up with him a couple of blocks from our headquarters and shop on Fifth Avenue. The officer approaches them, and they all think they're going to get into some kind of, not trouble, this was all legal, but questioned about their protest and what they're going to do and whatever. And instead, the officer just says, "Can I have one of those shirts? You know where I can buy that?" And it was one of those Sell the Team Bob shirts. And they were like, "No way, officer. This is on us." Just handed it to him. And that was the end of the exchange. They were bright. They were independent-minded from the ones that I was speaking with. One drove from all the way out of state. And another one, at the end of it, at the end of the march, which took them across the 6th Street Bridge over to PNC Park, took his Sell the Team Bob shirt off and laid it on the door handle at 115 Federal so that, somebody would see it. There's a spirit there. There's a spirit there. And it's coming from the right place. They want the Pirates to succeed. They feel like they want the Pirates to succeed more than the people running and even owning the Pirates want that. And they weren't like unreasonable or weirdos or whatever and again, I was only around them for like about 5 minutes, but in the brief time that I was there, what I heard from them was, it was sell Bob and it was do this Bob and do that Bob, but it was mostly stop being like this. Stop accepting a losing team. Stop accepting mediocrity. Do the right thing, Bob, was what one of them said. And again, whether they meant sell the team or make it better, I don't know. But they did something. They got seen. They got heard. Because it's not just the protests and it's not just who sees them physically. It's also, the hundreds of thousands of social media and regular media impressions that get generated by something like this. And as one of them said to me, the crazy part of this is that that it's not 30 people who think like this. That. That if the day came that either management or ownership or both changed, you would have a celebration in this town that'd be at the level of a playoff series victory. And I swear to you, I am not exaggerating, at least not in my own head when I say that. And yet everybody's just kind of content to let these 30 people do the lifting. Because, LOL. When we come back, J1Q.
It's Gun Storage Check Week. Help prevent unwanted access to your firearms. No one wants their unsecured gun to be used in an accident, a suicide, or a crime. Use lockboxes, safes, and locks to secure your firearms. Learn more at gunstoragecheck.org. That's gunstoragecheck.org. Brought to you by NSSF, the Firearm Industry Trade Association.
Today's J1Q comes from Rick, who says, DK, what is it going to take to truly unleash the aggressiveness in the Pirates hitters, even under Ben Cherington and Derek Shelton? We have watched hitter after hitter after hitter getting worse offensively when they come to Pittsburgh and then getting better after they leave. Is it still possible under Cherington and Shelton? The answer to that, Rick, I would hope this would be obvious after 5 years of watching it yourself, is a cold, hard no. Now, it's not universal. I would like to think that we can all applaud the small successes that have occurred along the way. Nick Gonzalez stands out in my mind. I was, probably about a year ago, as down on Nick as anybody. I thought that his career-long, and by that I mean as a professional in the minor leagues, penchant for striking out, swinging through pitches right down the gut, was going to pronounce his big league career DOA. Well, to his credit, he made some adjustments. In parentheses here now, also to his credit, no matter how many times I asked him who made those adjustments or who did he work with, he'd never answer because I think he knew what kind of can of worms he'd be opening in the process. But that alone makes me think that it was not exactly people in the Pirates' employ, although I don't know that definitively, end parentheses. But as for the overwhelming majority of them, what you've seen is players just becoming more passive after they make it to Pittsburgh. It usually takes about 2 weeks if you've picked up on the pattern. Now, that can most disturbingly even include players from within their own system. You'll see here or read that so-and-so in Indianapolis was really swinging aggressively and coming up with big results. They get to Pittsburgh and all of a sudden they're just standing there watching strike three go by. Now, if you want to take a trip to Fantasyland here, you can pretend, and that's all it would be, that Cherington's about to go out and get himself a hitting coach or a team of hitting coaches or whatever that stuff was he was talking about at season's end, and they're all just going to come in and be so different than whatever. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. In that same press conference I just referenced, Jose Negron of DK Pittsburgh Sports asked Cherington if he was open to changing or altering or tinkering with, I don't remember exactly what was Jose's wording, with the hitting philosophy. And Cherington answered like a preacher who'd just been asked to speak badly of the Bible. The answer in, I was going to say not so many words, but with Cherington it's usually a lot of words. The answer in a lot of words was no. Why should we? And that's what I've been telling you all along was going to happen. They got rid of the pro scouting director. They're going to replace him with somebody else who's the exact same thing. They got rid of the data guy. They got rid of the international guy. They're going to replace him with people who are the exact same thing. They're going to do that with the hitting coach. They're going to do that with the bullpen coach. They're going to do that with the strength and conditioning coordinator. And my sincere apologies if there was any scapegoat that I left out. So no, you're going to see them hit in Bradenton because they always do. The 105 lost teams that the Pirates have had, the 100-plus lost teams have always hit in Bradenton, and you're going to have a bunch of people wagging fingers about this and that. Oh, look at the new hitting coach. Then they're going to go into the regular season and be exactly what they've been, particularly under this management team. I appreciate the question. I appreciate everybody listening to Daily Shot of Pirates, and I especially appreciated having had the chance to meet a few of you in person yesterday downtown. Let's do this again tomorrow.